Welcome everybody to Valpo Basketball Preview, our first edition of the 2013-2014 season as we look ahead to the whole season and look ahead to this week's action. Todd Ickow with you, joined each week by head coach Bryce Drew. Great to have you along. We're previewing the season, but already a start, 2-0. Kind of can look back a little bit first. Two good wins, obviously a great win against Murray State to open up the year.
Very blessed with a great group of guys. They play extremely hard. They've really gelled well together despite never really playing games together. And I thought our crowd was very important. Our first two games gave us a lot of energy and gave us some boost during the course of the game. We really needed it.
I think one thing which we saw in the first two games is it's going to be different guys stepping up. In the past years, obviously, you can almost always depend on Ryan Brokoff, 15 to 20 points, 8 to 10 rebounds. Kevin Van Vyk, similar numbers. Now, you never know. It might be a different leading scorer, 8, 9 different games this year, right?
It's definitely exciting as a coaching staff and as fans for that reason. You don't know who's going to step up, who's going to be closing out a game for you. I'm learning about our players as we go through games. I think they're learning about themselves and about our team. So there's definitely going to be a period of time here where I think all of us are going to be curious to see who steps up.
One last point before we look ahead. We look at the end of the Murray State game. It had been kind of a rough offensive night for Labonte Doherty. Yeah, with 10 seconds to go, you guys call timeout, and it's Labonte going one-on-one. Some thoughts about that decision and what took place?
Labonte's had a great summer, and he's had a great preseason. Played extremely well in our 2 exhibition games. So, he wants the ball in tough situations, and he has the speed and the ability to make a play. And thought he just made a tremendous individual play to end that game.
All right, now let's take a look ahead. Great test this week. One of the great weeks of the season, I think, when you go to Illinois and go to Ohio, maybe 2 of the toughest games all year. Let's start with going to Illinois and what the Illini pose. They've got a great point guard, I think, in Tracy Abrams. They've got some veteran players. They've got a transfer from Drake who looks like he may end up being their top scorer this year. What can you tell us about Illinois?
Extremely well coached. They do a tremendous job defensively. They've really done a really excellent job forcing tough shots and not giving a lot of points up in transition. So our offense is really going to have to work to score points against them. And then offensively, they're very efficient. They move the ball very well. One of the things that's been, very surprising for any young team not to turn the ball over, and they just haven't turned the ball over very much. So they've done a great job taking care of the ball.
They're 2-0 with their start. They wins this past week. They beat Jacksonville State on Sunday night, and it looks like from their scores, 80 points one game, 86 in the other. Could be an up-tempo game on Wednesday night.
They're definitely good in transition. They get out, and they have very good players that can get out in transition and make plays. And, I think, again, their coaching staff does a great job putting them in situations where they can use their talents. And so for us, I don't know if we want the score that high, but, we have some guys who can score some points, so we'll have to see how the game's going.
Always difficult to go into a Big Ten arena, obviously. You're going to have 15,000 fans or whatever rooting against you. But maybe just as difficult going to a place like Ohio. It seems like nobody wins there, and they come off a victory against Northern Iowa. You went there 3 years ago, played them very tough, and that's a program that the following year, they went all the way 3 rounds through the NCAA tournament, I think, before losing to North Carolina. So obviously, it's a great program, and they've got a guy in their roster, who probably end up being their leading scorer this year, Nick Kellogg, the son of Clark Kellogg, who played in the game against you guys 3 years ago. You have nobody who played in that game 3 years ago.
I know. It's kind of ironic. Coach Gross, who at Illinois now, he was coach at Ohio when we played there, and actually went down to the last possession. We had a 3-pointer with under a minute to tie it, and we ended up missing it and then losing in the last couple seconds. But they're off to a great start. They're an excellent team, a great tradition there, and this will definitely be a big challenge, and it'll give our younger players definitely a gauge right away to see where they stack up.
Okay, and you look at the first month. You maybe had one breather, the North Park game, but the rest of the first month of the season, there are no breathers in there, right?
Our next 6 games are all against teams that won 20 or more games last year, and the bad thing, 3 of those are on the road, and then 3 are here when our students are not here. So, it's definitely going to be a challenging next few weeks for us, but I think as a coaching staff and as a team, we'll learn a lot about ourselves, and hopefully this will prepare us as we get into conference season.
Good luck. Great week ahead. Good luck against Illinois and Ohio. The head coach, Bryce Drew. We'll visit with you next week on Valpo Basketball Preview.